Hello, this is the TradeSite U.S. Stocks and Futures Market Preview for the week beginning Sunday, the 19th of May, 2024, ending Friday the 24th. This is, we just got through options expiration for May. Obviously, we're heading into the summer. The VIX is under 12, just barely. We'll look at that in a minute. It's just really poor stuff right now. Just so you're aware, the layout for this next week, we'll talk about the economic calendar and what's coming out, including a couple key numbers. A lot of Fed members speaking this week. But the big thing is that the following Monday, the 27th, is Memorial Day here in the U.S. Markets are closed, which means Friday will probably be a bust as people tend to extend out their weekends. So I would focus on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, as we often do anyways. Monday, first day of a new option cycle, can be a little bit slow. Here's the dollar index daily chart. Pretty much just sitting mid-range for the last year or so. Here's the euro dollar, usually the inverse of the dollar index, but we've seen some separation lately. Obviously, that 13 sell signal back at the end of December was the high. Took us straight back to the static trend line, which is what it's supposed to do. Pretty technical there. But other than that, we don't have much going on. The pound futures, again, 13 sell signal, even though it wasn't an exciting signal because we weren't extended, tested the risk line of that and then came down and hit the static trend line. So again, met the target there. A beautiful trade. So you get the 13 signal. You're not supposed to close above the pink risk line, which we didn't, and then you're supposed to go down to the red line, and we did. So that's pretty much exactly how that signal is supposed to work. Here's the ES front month futures contract. This is the daily chart of the broad market in futures form, and you can see basically hit new highs this week, closed Wednesday at the highest point of the week, but very close to it on Friday's close as well. S&P cash, obviously the same story. NASDAQ 100 didn't make new highs, but it's very near it. It's funny because it was strong for a while when the S&P wasn't, but then it's kind of reversed. Russell 2000, not new highs, but near it. Crude oil curled up a little bit late in the week after a couple weeks of flat, so closes at 79.58 for the week. Here's Bitcoin sitting at 66,850 or so, obviously still trading. That 13 sell signal there was also the high. TLT, the 20-year bond ETF, up a bit this week, so bonds up, rates down, as they say. We did see some rate decreases, but nothing from the Fed. Here's the scary part, the VIX as we head into summer. With everything going on in the world, the VIX is now under 12 for the first time since last December and making basically new lows for the last year and a half. That's not great. That's, obviously volatility is what we want, and we're not seeing it. So again, most of the money that I'm making is in futures and in options right now. I just don't see a ton of intraday stock activity that's super exciting. The advanced decline ratio on the New York, mostly positive all week. I mean, there were a couple days where it dipped barely negative, but it had some very strong days. So it was a good week. Trend closes at 0.83, but that puts the 10-day moving average, which is the orange line, at 1.03, and that is not under the 0.085, which is the blue line, which means there's no sell signal on the broad market yet. In terms of interweek action, here's the 5 or 10-minute candles on the ES. Far left side of the chart is the prior Friday, so Monday we gap up small, come back, fill the gap, dead flat. Tuesday flat open, nothing all day until the last hour or so, and we kind of rallied. Wednesday we gap up and push higher. That was, options unraveling, right? More than likely that's usually when that happens. It's Wednesday of options expiration week. That's the biggest range day of the week. And, it worked perfectly. Remember, you wait for the first hour, and then whatever direction the market takes, you usually stick with that direction as they unravel the positions. Nobody wants to hold them all the way into Friday. Thursday, small gap up, went a little higher, but came back, filled, and closed slightly negative. Friday, just dead flat. That's called options expiration. So it is what it is. The NASDAQ side, not much different. Pretty much the gap up was on Monday. A little flatter on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Obviously, it's the broad market that unraveled all of the indices. In terms of, what was I going to say? Oh, let's go on to some of our key stocks. By the way, volume was pretty heavy on Friday, but that was just options volume. Apple, no signal, no pattern, nothing here. Amazon, holding kind of near the highs, but no signal, no pattern. Meta, mid-range, no signal, no pattern. Google, breaking highs here on Google. That's a good sign. Goldman Sachs also at highs finally. This thing was so flat for like 3 months. Netflix looks like it could break out. It's an interesting pattern on Netflix. Tesla, flat for this week, but it is kind of set up for a move upwards, it looks like to me. NVIDIA down on Friday, but this is a nice cup and handle-ish formation that could be forming here. Give it a couple weeks, and we might get another run in NVIDIA. Wouldn't that be amazing? Zoom, is what it is there. Not much going on. And First Solar about to break 2 highs. So, yeah, there's some interesting stuff going on out there. I'd say Apple's kind of the weak link, and it is what it is. But overall, it's mostly most big stocks positive. The only problem is that the VIX is just horrible. So we have no intraday market volatility. In terms of economic data this week, Europe's on bank holiday on Monday. You get a lot of Fed members speaking. No real U.S. data. Canada's also on bank holiday on Monday. So it's going to be, again, first day of a new option cycle with everybody else in the world shut down. Probably not going to be an exciting day on Monday. Then we get into Tuesday. We start our week. Treasury Secretary Yellen speaking very early somewhere. Trade balance out of Europe. CPI out of Canada. And then a lot of Fed members speaking throughout the morning here in the U.S. It must be at some kind of a conference because that's a lot of speeches. Trade balance out of Japan that night. Rate announcement out of New Zealand at 10 p.m. Eastern time Tuesday night. So really no data in the U.S. up to that point. Wednesday, CPI out of the U.K. Existing home sales at 10 a.m. here in the U.S. Crude oil inventories at 10:30. Retail sales out of New Zealand that night. Nothing really here. Going into Thursday... flash manufacturing and services PMI numbers from across Europe and the UK. And then here in the US at 9:45, same number. We've got the weekly initial and continuing jobless claims numbers at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time here. Consumer confidence out of Europe. New home sales here in the US at 10. Natty gas at 10:30. And then Friday, durable goods at 8:30 a.m. and revised University of Michigan sentiment at 10. But again, Friday, so Monday, the whole world's closed and it's the first day of a new option cycle. Wouldn't expect much. Friday, leading into a 3-day weekend. Wouldn't expect much. Not a lot of data throughout the week. A lot of Fed members speaking, and Yellen speaking as well. So if there's going to be action, it's probably going to be Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, or any combination thereof. And that's what we will stay focused on. Charts, as usual, brought to you by NinjaTrader. If you've not yet taken a trial of our services, feel free to do so. We will help you out for a couple of weeks. Have a great trading week.